Welcome to this webinar on hybrid working. I'm excited to be here with you to talk about this very timely and important conversation on how business is changing nowadays. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A and I'll answer them after the webinar. So my name is Jennifer Schmidt. I'll be your host for the webinar today. You can contact me at jennifer.schmidt@therefore.net or on my team email address, which is media@therefore.net. This is a very exciting time for Therefore. We recently launched Therefore 2022, which is our new version. And because it's a main release, we have a new release for both Therefore Online and Therefore On-Premise. The setup files are already available on the Therefore extranet. We also have new refresher training. We have all new content on the extranet, as well as lots of good FAQ articles on our support portal. Specifically, I'd like to highlight our new e-learning courses. We have released several new e-learning courses very recently, starting with the core course, repository design, workflow 1, workflow 2 now also, electronic document import, and also refresher training. What is refresher training? Every year when we release a new main release of Therefore, we create refresher training, which are courses specifically about the new features. This year is no different. You'll find lots of great tutorial videos on Smart Capture, the dynamic web viewer, and other enhancements. These tutorials walk you through every little step that you need to do in order to get these features up and running on your Therefore system. They are very easy to follow, and there's a small quiz at the end. So I'm sure this course will be very useful to any one of you who are interested in learning more, installing, configuring the new features in Therefore. So please check that out and let me know if you have any feedback. I'm always really excited to hear from people who've completed the courses, to hear what you think. So this brings me to the agenda for today's webinar. What are we talking about? First, we'll talk about what is hybrid work, the challenges of working from a hybrid environment, and how Therefore can help. I'll show you exactly what solutions Therefore can offer to ensure a successful working environment, and finally also do a brief demo on the dynamic web viewer, which is, I think, a really great solution for those of us who are working from home, because it means that you can access Therefore from a Mac or a PC, and you do not need to install anything at all. Let's go. So what is actually hybrid work? Well, option A could be that some employees work on site and others work remotely. And option B is all employees work on site for part of the week and remotely for part of the week. And of course, a mix of both A and B is possible, where some employees might be working from home, some might be working in other regions of the world, and then come occasionally back to the office to meet up. This is actually what Therefore is like. So we have employees all around the world. For the most part, most people are based out of Austria, and so they're able to come into the main office in Rudling to work some days a week. But of course, we also have employees who are based in other locations, and they'll come to Therefore on occasion and work from the office if there's a meeting or some other event. So hybrid work is a very flexible way of looking at working, and I personally think it's the best of both worlds. We all know that commuting to and from home to the office is time consuming, it's costly, gas prices have significantly increased recently, and it's also can be inconvenient. You know, you're getting packages delivered, maybe there's other reasons that you want to be home for safety or security. And so having a hybrid work model where you are able to work from home allows you to have that convenience, but also allows you to have the social and work benefits of being in an office environment. However, it's not without challenges. So we will look at exactly how does Therefore meet those challenges and help you overcome them. What do the statistics say about what workers want? Is Therefore just an exception? Or is my opinion an exception? Well, absolutely not. A recent survey conducted by envoy.com has actually said that 83% of employees prefer a hybrid working model where they can work remotely about 25% or more of the time. So we can see here that this hybrid working model is something that a lot of companies really want to be able to offer to their employees, because they know this will help keep their employees happy, keep them at the work, and also, in fact, increase productivity. So it's not just that it's more convenient for employees, but a lot of employees see that they're more productive working at home. So there is a real advantage. And in fact, if you look long term, the trend says that by 2028, 73% of all departments are expected to have remote workers. So this was conducted by a survey conducted by Upwork. So not only does this confirm that remote work is evolving, that the way that we are working as a society is going to be more remote based, but it also shows that telecommuting will become acceptable in an even wider range of industries. So in sum, the trend that we see now with remote work is a trend that is here to stay. In fact, by 2028, it will no longer be a trend, it will be more than the norm. So what are some things that we have to consider when thinking about the situation with remote work, where we're working from home and we're also working from the office? Well, in the office, we have hard access to digital copies, direct access to technology. Paper can be transferred from desk to desk. Employees can talk face to face, and there is more opportunity for ad hoc communication. You're able to see an employee at the coffee machine and say, hey, I heard you're working on a project so-and-so, how is that going? And you might get feedback, that project timeline that you had set, that's working out great, I'm really happy with that. The graphics that you provided, really nice. Have you heard from customer so-and-so? There's a lot more ad hoc communication. Whereas if you're in home office, you have to have everything digitized. If it's not available via your VPN or via your infrastructure, it basically doesn't exist. There's no way, especially in a hybrid environment, that you're going to be transferring large binders filled with paper from your home to the office day in, day out. It's not secure, first of all, but it's just not practical. So if you're trying to create a connection between the office and home office, you have to make sure that you have really good infrastructure to support the physical movement of your workspace. And of course, what is that? Flexible work. So we need a flexible tool like Therefore to be able to achieve those goals. Well, Therefore is the perfect solution to help you enable a hybrid work environment. Everything is stored in Therefore, so you can capture and utilize paper and electronic information really easily. The data is secure within a central digital repository, which is essential. If you're moving around, you want to make sure that no matter where you are, your data and your information is secure. You can manage information as a strategic asset, right? You can access your data anytime, anywhere, regardless if you're at home on your laptop, on your office, at your desktop computer, mobile devices. You can automate and optimize core business processes. This is really important. We're talking about workflow here, being able to digitize business processes so that regardless of where you are, you can still know what needs to be done and see who is doing the job, and analyze and react to key performance indicators. This is reporting. So Therefore has a lot of very robust reporting tools that enable you to get key information about documents, processes, anything like that in real time. So in sum, Therefore offers a single platform for your information management. As you can see here, we have the ability to input all kinds of information using a scanning solution. It's an intelligent capture solution as well. We have smart capture that allows AI-based invoice recognition. And we also have a lot of solutions for managing electronic documents and processes. We've got this really amazing eForms solution to create an eForm for getting information into Therefore, file shares, cloud content, third-party apps, email integrations. Therefore can do it all. So it really is the best friend that you can have in a hybrid work environment. And of course, one of the best ways to get started with Therefore would be to use Therefore Online. Therefore Online offers the same look and feel, but the server is securely managed by Therefore on Microsoft Azure. It offers very fast installation. It can be remotely deployed. It's a cloud service. all you need to do is install the client, and then you'll have full access to all the documents and workflows in Therefore. So this is a huge improvement to Therefore on-premise, which requires a server installation. And because Therefore Online only is a client, you can easily install it on a home computer. It doesn't take up very much space on a computer drive. So this is also a really attractive way to make sure that people can access their documents and processes at home. Moreover, it's very secure and has a global reach. So we've got servers in Europe, Singapore, Asia, India, Australia, Japan, USA, and Canada, and failover servers as well. So for Europe, for example, the main server is in Ireland with a failover server in Amsterdam. The main advantage of having Therefore is that you can very easily find documents without having to know where they are stored exactly. This is a huge advantage, especially if you're dealing with a workforce that is spread in different regions. Back in the day when everyone was in the office together, Betty from accounting wasn't sure where past invoices were stored. She could just turn around and ask her friend Susie, right? But nowadays, Betty and Susie are both working in different offices. They might only be able to reach each other over Teams, or Betty and Susie might be in completely different time zones. So it's really important for there to be one standard way of finding and storing everything, because employees really need to be able to work and be able to find things independently of one another. And so this is why Therefore is so great for this type of hybrid work environment. Because we have such a diverse amount of index data that each document is given when it's saved to the system, you can enter whatever search criteria you know in order to find the document that you need, right? So there is no more guesswork where a document is saved, what the current version is, who changed it last. The list goes on. We all know what the pitfalls are of a standard Windows system where you have one folder where the folders can be deleted, they can be copied, they can move from one place to another. This is no way for a remote workforce to work together. It is just too error prone and too easy to make a simple mistake. So this is why we need something like Therefore. Look, where every single document has exactly what it needs on it. So you can find, you can search by date, you can search by name, you can search by last change. You can see exactly what happened and who made those changes. Moreover, all of that is possible from a web viewer. So for those employees who do not want to install a client on their home computer, they can just do it all using the web. So you can enter a URL into a web browser, and then you'll have full access to documents and workflows from the comfort of the web. As you can see here, we have an example of a document that's in the web viewer. This is an image. It's a sonogram that was saved into Therefore. You can see previous versions. The current version has this nice thick black border around it. Previous versions are viewed here. You can open the document in a new tab. You can start a workflow, and you can add any changes or comments that you would need. So it's an extremely simple and convenient way of accessing documents, especially from a home environment. And of course, Therefore is incredibly secure. We've got version control, the audit trail, signature and encryption. It's GDPR compliant, single sign-on, Windows Local Security, LDAP Samba, OAuth, Okta, and Azure Active Directory. I also mentioned workflow previously. Let's talk about why workflow is so great for a hybrid work environment. So Therefore workflow is a digitization of a business process. So without Therefore, business processes are still occurring, but they're occurring probably in a much less formal manner. If everyone's in the office all the time, it's pretty easy to keep track of what's going on because you can easily ask an employee, hey, did you get that document? But in a hybrid work environment, again, the employees aren't going to be all at the same spot. So it's very important for there to be a formal process with clearly defined paths, what should happen in which case at all times. As you can see here, this is a simple workflow showing what happens for flight booking, which is a type of business process that might happen if people need to travel. A process is already in place that defines exactly what can happen under which circumstances. The employee can look at the workflow at any time to see where that document is in that process. They can see how long it's been taking, if any steps are overdue. And no employee will forget that that needs to be done, because therefore we'll send out reminders. Again, this is so helpful because if you're not all at the same place, you're not all in the same time zone, it might be hard to actually catch up in person, say, hey, I sent you a request for a travel booking. Have you got it approved? Were you able to make that booking for me? And with therefore, you know exactly what's going to happen, and it's much more difficult for it to be forgotten. Moreover, workflow is just a really secure way of handling business processes. There is no more guesswork involved. The accuracy is there because it's configured to match your specific needs. You can improve the visibility and traceability of every business process. Employees can look back and see what the business process is, and they'll see these red lines going through so that it'll be very obvious where in the process the document is. You have this really great traceability and security. This can actually help businesses meet audit requirements, especially for SOX, where you really need to be able to prove that you have the fact that workflow can be done without paper also makes it a key helper for hybrid working. And finally, we also have mobile access on our mobile app, Therefore Go. It works with both mobile phones and tablets for iOS and Android devices. We have support two-factor authentication. You can approve workflow tasks. You can take pictures and save them to Therefore. So that's a really good way to prove of receipt of goods and any issues that you might have on site. You can interact with the documents securely. You can view the documents, check them out, add comments, and then check them back in. And finally, Therefore also offers a lot of sharing and collaboration tools. So oftentimes you might want to interact with third-party vendors who are not part of the Therefore solution. For example, if you're wanting to interact with a third-party marketing or graphic design agency, you might send them raw files using Box or Dropbox. They'll make some changes, add some graphics, and then send it back to you via Dropbox. So this is one of the options that we have with Therefore. You can share documents with others through a link using ad hoc tasks to check in comments to know what colleagues worked on. We also have integration with cloud storage options, OneDrive, Box, Dropbox, and you can use them like FTP to up and download the content. So here's a screenshot where you can see we have the start of collaboration. This will then upload the document to the cloud. You can see here, this is what it looks like on the tablet. You can check. What do we have here? You can search for things and retrieve it, and then insert the photo. Select the photo that you want to upload, and then it'll be shared. So it's extremely easy to use, has a really nice user interface. Finally, let's get to digital signature. Digital signatures and Therefore are also extremely useful. So digital signatures are e-signatures. They are a very secure and legally recognized way of signing a document. So rather than having to take a contract, print it out, sign it, put it in the mail, and then receive it a couple of days later, digital signature will allow you to send a document for signature. The e-signature will open in the third-party e-signature interface. The user can sign it, and then Therefore will monitor that e-signature's website and then download the signed document from them. And it'll be saved back into the Therefore interface automatically. It's extremely convenient, saves a lot of time, and really ensures that for customers who need to frequently get signatures from their customers, that no time is wasted waiting for them to have gone through that physical process. Again, in a hybrid environment, very useful because now people are working from home. Not everyone might have a printer at home. Not everyone might want to go to the post office to mail something, especially with the pandemic. So having a digital signature solution is a really great way to speed things up and make sure that you have a very efficient end-to-end process. We have a number of digital signature providers: DocuSign, Scribble, Signatura, Scribe, Sign, Smart, HelloSign, uSign, and we also have a provider neutral interface which allows you to create connections to other third-party e-signature providers. So now we're moving on to the demo part of the webinar. Today I'm going to do a brief demo on the dynamic web viewer. This is a web-based way of accessing Therefore. As you can see, we are looking at my Therefore repository. I'm using Google Chrome, but Safari, Firefox, and Edge are all supported. Now, the really neat thing about the web client is that we can also create dashboards. As you can see here, I have a dashboard showing statistics about all kinds of documents and processes in my system. So this donut chart here shows me how many processes there are currently available. I can also see how many processes are assigned to me. Right now, it's 0. And if they have any overdue tasks. I can edit this simply by clicking that little pen icon. And then I can add another report very easily. So let's add a graph tile maybe. And here I can then add what kind of graph I want: a bar, donut, or pie. Let's do a bar chart maybe. And I'll also add for type of statistic that I like. So tasks overdue, documents created this week by category, documents created last year. Let's do that. I can change the size. Let's make it a little bit bigger, 3 by 3. And then let's also change the color too. The nice thing is that you can change the color to something that you would like. Something like that maybe. And then the chart immediately appears. And you can drag and drop them in different places. And it's done instantly. You don't need to have any special permissions, and you don't need to have any development skills. As you can see, it's simply drag and drop and selecting what you like. And this is a really great way to get instant reports about things that are going on your Therefore system. So as you can see and imagine, this is a really good solution for hybrid workers because you've got the ability to access all of your documents and workflows from any web browser without installing anything. Now, of course, if you want to go further, you can install Therefore on your system computer. You can just install the client and you'll be able to access Therefore there. But of course, many people might not want to install something on their home computer, in which case this is a great choice. The nice thing is you can also share the dashboard with other users in the company. I've created a couple other dashboards as well for other groups, for a laboratory group or a radiology group, and then I can push those dashboards out to those users who are members of that group. Now, if I want to search for a document, I have all of my folders and categories here. So let me just search for a document. I know that I have a nice document here by John Green. And as you can see here, it opens up in the viewer. I can easily see what document it is. In this case, this is an image followed by some laboratory results. And I can also see a document history, meaning all changes that have been made to the document. The current version has a nice thick black border, but previous versions can also be viewed and accessed. And I can also go and see any linked objects, which in this case is a workflow. It's linked to a patient visit workflow. So you can imagine that this is a very convenient, easy to use feature that makes Therefore accessible from the home or from the office. All right, let's go back and finish up the presentation now. And that concludes the webinar on hybrid working. As you can see, Therefore is a really great partner for companies who want to work in a hybrid manner. We have the full solution to ensure that work is efficient, that employees have access to all of their data and information that they need, and it's incredibly easy to get started. So follow us on our website, therefore.net, and sign up for future webinars as well. Thank you for watching, and we'll be in touch.